IEBC inawekwa ya kusaidia Wakenya ili uchaguzi ifanywe. Wanasema Ruto must. Sasa hii
ati chairman mwenye ametauliwa sijui anatoka kwa jamii ndogo ya Waturkana. Waturkana ni wa Kenya na wana haki kuongoza commission ya IEBC.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard in the said clips that we have begun with, these are members of parliament and also the PA to the president, all affiliated with the president, trying to send out a message to us that no matter what we say, they are going to make sure that the newly selected IEBC chairperson together with the IEBC commissioners will sail through the parliamentary review, and they will be sworn in as the chairperson of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission and also as the commissioners of the IEBC, the 6 of them together with the chairperson, which makes them 7. Recently, since these names were given to us by the president, we have done our due diligence. We have scrutinized these people online, and we have found that these people are not the best candidate to be the decision makers when it comes to the elections of the year 2027. Why? Because they have links to the current government. They have links to President William Ruto. They have links to Raila Amolo Odinga. And when we raised our voice, they have started saying that we shall see who is who. Now, allow me, comrades, to remind you that the same conversation and the same chest thumping that the members of parliament and the PA to the president, Farouk Kibet, are currently having is what they had last year at the same time when we were opposing the finance bill here 2025. Now, we are not opposing the finance bill. We are opposing the Electoral Boundaries Commission new commissioners, because these commissioners will mean an end to this country if they rule on irregularities in the year 2027 general election. And I shall remind you, wabunge walituambia mtadu nini tukipitisha finance bill the year 2024. Tukawaonyesha chenye tungedu. Currently, the president last week also asked us, nisipotoka kwa ofisi mtandu. Now, the MPs have also started chest thumping. Wanatuliza, tukipitisha IEBC mtadu. Allow me to get down into details on this matter. Now, the members of parliament allied to Kenya Kwanza are vowed to pass the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission IEBC list of nominees once it is tabled in parliament. The MPs argued those opposed to the list to rally their supporters for a showdown in parliament. Let me ask you, the matter of should the IEBC issue even be a bone of contention between the members of the public and the members of parliament? Should it be an issue, by the way? Should we even debate about it? If we have seen irregularities and we tell you that these people are not fit to be the people that will determine who rules this country in the year 2027, it's about time you listen to us. This chest thumping by Akina Kimani Ichungwah and Akina Farouk Kibet is the same thing that happened last year during, the same time. Currently, we are in May. We were heading to June. At the same time, we opposed the finance bill year 2024. We started speaking. We called it out. They never heard us. They told us, kujeni kwa parliament msimamishe basi kama mnajiona mnaweza. That led the people of this republic to rally in the streets, which led to most of our comrades dying. Now they want the same scenario to repeat itself this time round on matters IEBC. I mean, we all know President juzi ametuliza nikikataa kuondoka kwa kiti mtadu. That is what President William Ruto asked us. Now Farouk Kibet anasema tukikataa hata tukiweka Charlene Ruto hapo kama IEBC chairperson mtadu. Walituuliza 2024 tusipoondoa hii finance bill mtadu. Mliona chenye tulidu. Now currently we don't have an opposition in parliament because Junet Mohammed and Kimani Ichungwah are in bed together with the president and Raila Amolo Odinga. They transact together. They pass bills together. No opposition is in current parliament. I mean, that floor of the house is as dirty as it comes. It is the most incompetent parliament that we have had in the history of this country since we got our independence in the year 1963. That is what you should currently understand. A parliament where the minority leader and majority leader sits together to drink tea and agreeing and signing checks on the bills that they will pass on the floor of the house. Now, the members of parliament allied to Kenya Kwanza have vowed to pass the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission IEBC list of nominees once it's tabled in parliament. Yani hata hawajaletewa, hawajafanya uchunguzi, but already hapa tutawapitisha. The MPs have argued those opposed to the list to rally their supporters for a showdown in parliament. We don't, I mean, the Kenyans never have a representative. Kama kuna mahali hata mnaweza angusha kombora mumalizane na hiyo house ni huko, muondolee Kenya shida. Now the accused Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka of dishonesty after he declared his opposition to the nominees. The MPs were speaking during an inter-domination service and a fundraiser for churches in Nandi Hills town on Sunday. If approved, the IEBC main task will be to address the backlog of elections, which has denied some Kenyans representation for 2 years. The leaders present include Governor Jonathan Chelilim, Dr. Yulita Mitei, Deputy Governor, and Senator Aaron Cheruiyot of Kericho. Now, these are the members of parliament that were there. Freddy Ikana of Shinyalu, Jocelyn Lelmegit of Iguen, Silvana Sosoro South Mugirango, Jafeth Nyakundi of Kitutu Chache, Cindy Moge of Nandi, Mwengi Motusi of Kibwezi West, Kimani Ichungwah of Kikuyu, Beatrice Dagal of Vihiga, John Buire of Taveta, Lilian Chene Sioi of Trans Nzoia, Innocent Mogambe of Likuyani, Bernard Kituro of Nandi Hills, Didmas Barasa of Kimilili, Samuel Chepkonga of Aina Bukoi, and Mark Nyamita of Uriri, Hilary Koskei of Kipkelion West. Now, Mr. Cheruiyot said Kalonzo was involved in the drafting of the IEBC election laws and the selection of the election panel. Mr. Osoro dismissed Kalonzo and his allies, accusing them of always complaining and opposing government efforts. What are the government efforts? Let me tell you one thing, you guys. The selection panel of the IEBC had already given the president the names of those that were viable for the positions of the IEBC commissioners and those that were viable for the position of the IEBC chairperson. But do you know that the president never picked them? I mean, he only picked one, the chairperson for the Erastus Edang Ethekon. The other 6 IEBC commissioners, those are people that he sneaked through the back door. They were never interviewed. Akina Anna Madi, I mean not Anna Madi, and Deritu, the current Office of Register of Political Parties. One Bona Hassan Nur Hassan, the brother-in-law to Junet Mohammed, and also a man that was involved in the NYS 5.5 million scandal. Na mnatuambia hawa ndio watu sasa wataamua kana kwamba nyinyi kama raia mumepiga kura na mkashinda uchaguzi. Sasa yule ambaye mumemchagua hata kama atakuwa akimpinga William Ruto eti anaweza kuwa rais. No, they will still make sure that William Ruto is in power in the year 2027. Now, one Osoro reminded Kalonzo that the IEBC selection process was gazetted and those who applied were interviewed in broad daylight and approved. Now, he argued Kalonzo and his allies to move away from what he called divisive press conferences and instead tour the country to sell their agenda. Now, Ichungwah accused Kalonzo of being self-centered and attempting to obstruct everything the government is doing. He pointed out that Kalonzo was represented on the selection panel by Kokimuli. He should organize his troops and meters in parliament. We have many by-elections waiting for us, added Mr. Nyakundi. Now, the chief guest, President William Ruto's head of PA, Farouk Kibet, stated that the president was not involved in the selection process but only received the list from the panel. He added that the IEBC's role is simply to oversee the election process and cannot determine who becomes president, governor, senator, MP, or MCA. Oh, we know Chebukati determined that William Ruto was to be the president of this republic. Yet, there were 4 IEBC commissioners that were opposed to that. Tuko pamoja. That tells us what? That tells us that this will be the same case in the year 2027. Ni karada tu itajirudia. And I dare tell the people of this republic, it's high time you realize the con game that is being played with the IEBC. Because if you don't have control over the IEBC, and it's Ruto who will be controlling the IEBC, you will be doomed. It's high time you hear your voices against this impunity that is supposed to be called IEBC. I mean, everybody in that commission that was recently selected as dirty linen that if washed in public, I don't know if they would ever even make it to serve in any public office. Kila mtu hapo akona in one way or the other affiliation to President William Ruto. Through President William Ruto, through transacting business with President William Ruto, or through transaction with Ruto's inner circle. Alafu mnatuambia that we go debate with these people in parliament, that we take our opposition in parliament. Yet we know the parliament was bought kitambo sana. Our watu, when we opposed the finance bill, they beat their chest in public telling us that hakuna kitu mtadu, and ndio sasa wameanza kutuambia tena mtadu nini. This is not a matter of Kalonzo or Rogashagwa or the opposition or whatever. This is a matter of an election that will be conducted in the year 2027. And if the public does not have control over that election, then we will be having no election. Wadau, nakamilisha. What do you think should be done so that we will have a fair election in the year 2027? Because with the current IEBC, we don't have any chance of dealing with Ruto in the year 2027. Subscribe.